It's a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello, Motor Runner, Cook, Driver, Nephi, and Violet. How are we doing? Welcome to Fallout Feed, episode 78. Just like those old RPMs your granddaddy used to spin. It is episode number 78 coming your way. Tonight we got just a light crew here in the podcast. In the podcast hangout, it's just me and Andrew. This is Pat, your host. Andrew, how you doing tonight?
Very well, Pat. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, but you guys are in luck because the community has really come through with some terrific feedback. We have over 1 hour. That's right, over 60 minutes of feedback from you, the listeners.
A great batch.
Yeah, we're excited. So really appreciate everybody chiming in with some good feedback on their adventures. If anybody happens to, Andrew, on the spur of the moment, has come up with a brilliant innovation for the Google Hangout here. I know we have a few of you guys who pop over and check us out on the live chat and the Hangout sometimes. But you can also see this on the ASA Podcasting YouTube channel. Andrew came up with the brilliant idea. It's like, hey, we could run some video. So instead of getting the little talking head bubble things that we normally get, we're playing a video in the background. So it's got what we happen to be running right now is some of my Let's Play. Arthur raw video from my New Vegas Let's Play. It's cranking out here in the background. So just a little more visual interest if you decide to check us out here in the YouTube chat. So Andrew, how's your week going?
Oh, very, very well, Pat. I'm on one of those magical weeks of the year where you get to say, fuck you, work. I'm not coming in next week. Taking a week off. We're going to have some fun over the 4th of July week. I'm planning on lots of little, fun stuff because Mo's just about the age where he can really start enjoying going out and doing stuff. He's not so baby helpless anymore. So, I'm excited to take him to the zoo and stuff like that. He's going to freak out.
Love the zoo. Great.
I know these are terrible places, and I always feel so weird and guilty at them. I love them and hate them all at the same time so much.
Yeah. Well, look, I think the good zoos do they do a lot of animal species preservation and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's great, and plus it helps spark the love of animals and into children who will then in turn grow up and be scientists who help animals and stuff.
Yeah.
I understand that point. That whole scene in Gorillas in the Mist when he's like, where did you first see a gorilla? Where did you fall in love with a gorilla? It's in a zoo. That has a point. It did spark interest because the first time you saw an animal, a gorilla was in the zoo. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we actually went to a zoo this summer, the Knoxville, Tennessee Zoo. We were there for my niece's graduation, and they were in the middle. It was a little disappointing. They were in the middle of so much construction. It was we really couldn't enjoy it very much. But it seemed like it was a zoo long due for some renovations because some of the animal enclosures were pretty sad.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
that's bad. I don't know. I love them, but again, Indianapolis Zoo has a gigantic dolphin tank. But no matter how big you make that dolphin tank, it is not really anywhere close to a dolphin's natural habitat. Their span of distance that they need to roam in the wild to stay a healthy pod. That's just not going to happen in captivity. So I do feel for those sorts of animals that roam very far, but the tortoise, whatever, he's fine.
Give him a patch of AstroTurf inside a box.
No, I know we're talking about zoos way too long here, but my favorite thing happened at a zoo recently. The South Bend Zoo up near where my in-laws live. They have a smaller zoo there with not quite as a huge amount of lots of exotic animals, but more some localized animals to the region and stuff. So they have like some bobcats on display, and some guy was up there getting really close to the bobcats, examining super close, showing his son like, look at the bobcat, and he sort of was like kind of not taunting it, but sort of like pointing and being loud and a little obnoxious or whatever. And the bobcat like came up to the front of the cage to like interact with the guy, and he was all like, oh look, I got it up, it's coming over, it's coming to say hi to me. And the bobcat like turns around, lifts his tail, and sprays the dude right in the face. Yeah, you deserve it, you fucking asshole. Leave those poor animals alone.
Nice. Marked by the bobcat for life. I love it. That's too funny. That is too funny. Yes. So well, good. We're glad you're getting that this 4th of July coming in the middle. It's kind of weird, but because the middle of the week. But on the other hand, like it kind of makes it easy to sort of like get like 10 days or like you're doing, like you're gonna get a nice chunk of days in a row. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm gonna do a long weekend myself. That's the best I could do this time. But
I decided to do that. I actually like taking vacations on the week of holidays because you get to use that holiday as one of the days instead of vacation time. It's like you get more vacation time in the long run, even though you don't really. It just kind of feels like that. You know what I mean? Oh my God, Pat, we got so much crap to get through.
Yeah, a lot tonight. I got a couple emails. We got a few special events to talk about. Maybe we'll just maybe I'll just do a quick note of one special event, and then we can jump into some of the listener feedback. Great friend of the show, Aaron, has dropped a Mindfog episode, which is always a highlight of the Fallout podcast universe. I hope everybody out there is listening to Aaron's in-universe Mindfog story, and it is really terrific. His production values are just amazing on that show. And I forget where he is now. I think he found Nick a couple episodes ago. So Aaron is actually last I heard from him, maybe I want to say over January, maybe even as late as Christmas. He as of then, he was still spoiler free. So almost 2 years into this game, he has not even finished the main quest yet because he's staying spoiler free.
And I really want to bring him on the show, Pat, but I don't know how that we can if he wants to remain spoiler free.
I've thought about that. We probably wouldn't have him on for a whole episode because it'd be dangerous, for his spoiler free. But if we brought him on for like a half-hour segment or something, and we made sure you and I were both current on what he's doing. I agree. I'd love to have him on the show and just talk about his process a little bit, talk about what inspired him and everything. Yeah.
Is he a Fallout historian guy? Did he play 3 in events?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't really know his background. I found his podcast kind of early in my Fallout 4 gameplay. I was that was how I found the Fallout feed and how I found a lot of other stuff. And I said, oh, well, what's this? And I listened to it, and I'll admit I kind of got away from it from a little bit because at the time I was sort of more interested in more like hardcore gameplay hints and stuff like the Fallout feed was doing at that time, and Fallout Off the Record was doing at that time and stuff. So I was more into that kind of stuff. But then lately, once I'd kind of gotten myself fully embedded in the Fallout 4 game, I really enjoyed getting back to his show because it is such a nice exploration of the Fallout 4.
It's like sinking into the environment like a nice warm tub or something. Right?
Yeah. We got a good analogy. So go check out it is Mindfog, MINDFOG, available on all the usual podcast channels, and it is absolutely worth checking out. It's I can see why, because he put so much time into his production. He does not crank out shows that fast, but they are absolutely worth the wait.
Yeah, great. So Aaron, shout out to Aaron. Mindfog, everyone.
Yeah, excellent podcast.
Well, we have a brand new Fallout player in the community, and Sarah, and I think it's a great way to always kick off a show with discussion ways, because new players always ask really good questions and things that we as show hosts sort of take for granted, brush over, assume everyone knows. But I really like when a new player writes in with questions. So Sarah's last time she wrote in this incredible not email but an audio feedback, And I was just blown away by how far she'd gotten into the game, how much she had accomplished, what sort of like great weapons she had already stumbled across, all these great things. So I'm excited to get into Sarah's feedback here to see what kind of trouble she's been getting into and what kind of questions that she has for us. So Pat, be sure to have a pen out to see if she asks us any questions, if we need to jot any.
I will make some notes. Bring it on, Sarah.
All right, Sarah. So thanks a lot, Sarah, for writing it, and hopefully we'll keep hearing from your adventures here.
Hey guys, it's Sarah just checking in to give you another random smattering of the things that I'm working on in Fallout 4 currently. First things first, I have a sleeping child next to me, so hopefully he doesn't wake up halfway through this. Second thing, update on Rad Baby. She will be here hopefully in the next 4 weeks. So those of you with children, I expect you to send me some tips on how to handle a newborn and be able to play the video games I want to play. So tips and tricks, greatly appreciated. So let's get into it. Like I said, this is going to be kind of all over the place. Deal with it. So I downloaded a couple mods. Just a reminder, I'm playing on PS4. They are not anything crazy, but I did download for my settlements no build limit and also settlement supplies expanded. I just did that probably 4 days ago, so I've just been playing with it. Seems cool so far. And then for in-game experience, I downloaded Simple Season Spring, which makes everything look a little bit more green and lush, which I actually really like. And then also Water Redux, which makes the water look a little bit more realistic. So simple, easy, but I dipped my toe into mods, guys. I'm pretty excited. I am currently at level 19. For the perks that I've taken so far, well, we'll start with this. So I'm really enjoying modding weapons. I have turned into a rifle girl. Who knew? I haven't even really picked up a melee weapon. I mean, I picked them up, but I haven't used them. Sometimes I use a pistol if I'm out of ammo, which is my biggest frustration in this game. VATS is my BFF. So I have my perception up to 9. I've gotten my agility and my intelligence up to 6. I've taken the toughness perk. I'm at level 1. The gun nut perk, level 1. Local leader, level 2, and science level 2. I've also picked up some other kind of random perks just from picking up magazines and the like. I picked up Life and Love, which is 25% experience from Persuading Men, which is kind of funny. And then also Astoundingly Awesome, which gives me plus 5% damage against Mirrorlurks. I don't even know how to say that. Please teach me how to say that. So since I last updated you, I've mostly been doing Minutemen quests and then main storyline type stuff. I have done a lot of Minutemen quests. I think I have a little bit of a problem. I'm kind of using it as a palate cleanser between like other stuff that I'm working on. Like, I don't know, they're just fun and I get to go and kill things, and I'm really getting into the whole settlement thing, so I think that helps as well. So what I've done so far is I did get the castle, killed the queen, and immediately started building the castle up. That place is awesome. Found the mini nuke, or I can't remember if it was a mini nuke or a missile launcher, and I kind of let everyone else fight the queen and shot it from afar. Except the stupid baby Mirrorlurks kept hatching, and they were super aggravating and annoying. So that actually wasn't too bad. It's pretty easy. After that, I ran off and I killed Kellogg, which was really tough. So I had Codsworth with me. Codsworth. I keep calling him Cogsworth, like from Beauty and the Beast. Do you guys have that problem? I don't know. Anyway, I had him with me, and Kellogg kept throwing grenades at me, so I had to sneak around and corner him. And then I was totally out of ammo for all the guns that I liked, so I just started throwing grenades back, and I was actually able to kill him that way. I am always freaking out of ammo, you guys, especially for my rifles. Like, what am I supposed to do? Help me with this, because I have like 8,038 rounds, and I can't find enough 308 rounds to like save my life. Anyway, so once I killed Kellogg and snatched everything off of him, I went back to the castle and I got into the artillery. I met my first sentry, which sucked. I still had Codsworth with me, and he was basically useless. But I had that other like crazy awesome chick with me, so I kind of just let her fight it, and then I threw grenades from afar. That's apparently my go-to when I'm out of ammo. And I still had the missile launcher with me, so I used that where I could. Then I figured out that they blow up when they die, and I died and I had to do it all over again. Then I went and did Dangerous Minds, which is where you go into the ghoul settlement. And of course, I've forgotten the name of the ghoul settlement, which I really liked. Super cool place. I definitely want to go spend some more time there. And of course, like after learning about Kellogg, I started to feel bad for him. And then I picked up the Silver Shroud quest, which I think I'm going to do next because the dude is so cute. Like, how can you not love that little guy? He's like so in love with the Silver Shroud. So I want to help him out. After that, I went to the Glowing Sea. I got killed about 1,000,000 times on my way. I figured out I'm not a big fan of power armor. I just don't see the point. I'm just always breaking things on it. I'm always getting beat up in it. Maybe someday I will see the point in power armor. I mean, obviously it helped me with the rads. So I wore it through this whole quest, but I basically just immediately ditched it after. I had some death claws randomly spawn, like in a town on my way, like that last little, like I think it's like a park. On your way, there's just like a death claw in a building that comes out and tries to take you out. Caught me by surprise. And then I found one out in the Glowing Sea. Is that what it's called? It's like a, on your whatever out there. And it was fighting a legendary rad scorpion. So that was kind of interesting. I died a bunch of times. Like, things kept spawning. Rad scorpions suck. It took me a really long time to get out to where I needed to be. I met the creepy people. I still don't know what's going on about all that with like the whole Adam thing, but I pretty much just noped out of there as soon as possible after speaking to the scientist because I just don't like that area. So I don't know if I'm going to go back. Is it going to make me go back? I really hope not. Not my favorite part of the game so far. So after that, I needed a palate cleanser, so I went and did a Minutemen quest, and I Abraham Finch's sword. Felt really bad for Jake. He died, but I just don't see, like, I had to replay that over and over again because I kept dying, and I just don't see any way in which he lives. I've tried it every which way. I think he's just supposed to die, so sacrifice Jake. I'm thinking that I probably should have collected the power armor off of the main guy. Now, of course, I can't remember his name either, but I left it there because I was still bitter about the Glowing Sea and the power armor situation there. So hopefully it's still there. Maybe I'll go grab it. I don't know. That was like an epic battle. That was really, really tough. But it was really, really fun. And of course, I was out of ammo again. This is my issue, you guys. I just can't have enough ammo to save my life. So aside from that, I have been building up my settlements as much as possible. So I picked up the local leader so I could set up supply chains between them, which is really helpful. I've got Sanctuary, Castle, and the Drive-In going really well. I've got like Grey Garden and Finch Farm and those things that I'm kind of working on. And then a random thing that maybe you guys can help me with. So in Sanctuary, everything's cool. I've got like my food. I've gotten like power. I've powered up almost the entire town. There's nothing that I'm lacking, but for some reason, my happiness won't go above 80. And the last time I was in there, it was dropping. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I put in one of the little like trade stands even to try to see if it would boost, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong. For some reason, my happiness just won't go above 80. So I need to figure that out. And then some other random stuff. So okay, this is a total noob question, but what in the heck does pumping water from the water pumps do? Like, it gives me the option to do it, and then I just pump water onto the ground. So give me a heads up. I guess I could Google it, but you guys might get a laugh out of that. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm looking through my stats, and I want to know how to explode my pants. And I also want to know what a money shot is in terms of Fallout 4, please. I think I have a Minuteman quest problem. Because I really like doing those quests. I can't stop calling Nick Valentine Nearly Headless Nick in my head, so I'm going to campaign to get his name changed to that. especially because every time I have to work with him, I want to chop his head off. He kind of drives me crazy. Like, he just doesn't do the things I want to do, and he's always in my way. I've actually found that I prefer Preston over pretty much everybody so far. So I dropped Codsworth a while back, and I've been using Preston lately. I've also just been wandering and cleaning out random like warehouses and buildings just because I enjoy doing that, and I enjoy picking up everything on the planet to help me build my settlements. I did find Bunker Hill, which I'm really interested in that city. I know something weird's going on, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be able to like add Bunker Hill maybe to my Minutemen settlements or something. I'm not sure, but I can't get the mayor to talk to me, so I think I just have to be patient and figure out where that comes along in the storyline instead of trying to jump ahead. I did experience a super creepy glitch, probably the creepiest thing I've seen in a long time. I was fighting some raiders, and I killed this guy, and he froze, like standing up, he froze. But his legs started slowly spinning in circles on either side of his body, like really slowly. And I stared at his helicopter legs for like 5 minutes because I couldn't figure it out. And it was, of course, the game was silent, so it was just really creepy. I made my husband come over and watch it with me. I like couldn't pull away from it, and so I quick saved it and reloaded, and it was fine afterwards. But it was super creepy. My favorite gun is the Wounded Hunting Rifle. The target bleeds for 25 points of additional damage. I flippin' love that thing. I modded it so I can get some more damage out of it. The problem is, again, I can never find enough ammo. Ugh. I finally figured out that cooking stuff doesn't irradiate you, which is awesome. I don't know why that took me so long to figure out. Drugs are cool, but like every time I take them, Preston hates me for it. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. Does it matter if I'm like addicted to drugs all the time? Like, what does that really do to me? I have the Addictol, so I've been using the Addictol when I get addicted to things, but I really like slowing time. And I really like that I make weird noises when I take the drugs. I don't know. They're helpful. So I'm going to keep using them until I get told otherwise. Tell me how that hurts me. So next steps. I need to travel to the CIT, and I need to bust into the Institute. I'm a little nervous to do that because I think I'm going to get my butt kicked over and over again. Tell me who the best companion is to take in there with me. I want to go get the Silver Shroud costume for my new little friend in the Ghoul Town. Tell me what the point is in following the Freedom Trail, because I've tried to follow it and then I just get distracted and do something else. So I'm like halfway through it right now. And then I also want to go check out the Witchcraft Museum just because it's a cute little hat on my map and it's a witchcraft museum and there's got to be something cool happening in there. So that's what I plan to do with my next update. Maybe you'll find out where I went and what I did. But thank you guys for listening, and I hope I will hear from y'all soon. Bye.
Oh, that's incredible. Thank you, Sarah, for the great audio feedback. There are 10 billion questions in there, and I jotted down a few. Pat, did you catch it?
Yeah, same here. I jotted down a few as well, and it's Mirelurks. If you go talk to the Bobrop brothers, Mirelurks is the most dangerous. I think otherwise it's Mirelurks.
Are you trying to say it with like a weird Irish accent?
Well, no, it's that weird Russian where they say Mirelurks. You know, I can't do accents. So anyway, so it's that. Remember, the first time you go into the dugout inn, the Bobrobs are talking to the guy who hangs out there, and they're talking about how Mirelurks are the worst enemy. And
Mirelurks.
Yeah. Say it in sort of their cheesy Boston Russian accents or whatever.
I see what you're getting at now.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So
that's funny. Do not. Okay, Sarah, I'll just make this point. Sorry for cutting you off there, Pat. Sarah, do not be ashamed of not being able to pronounce things correctly. I thought they were like raid stags because I thought it was short for radiation. Like I called everything raid stags and raid away and stuff like that in my head. I also There's something else I mispronounced all the time.
Well, there's mutt fruit is a common.
It's mute fruit because it's like mutated, like it's a muted.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's mute fruit. I always called it mutt fruit, but there's not two T's anyway, so it wouldn't be pronounced mutt fruit anyway. I don't know why. I don't know why my head wanted to call it mutt fruit.
Yeah.
There's a couple of common mispronounced things that I fell into as a new player as well. Fallout 4 was my first Fallout game, so I'm, I was sort of falling into those same sort of things. Yeah, Mirelurks. I don't know. Is there any other tricky pronunciation? My head.
No, it's the mutt mute thing is the main one I come across. I mean, like, and there's some names, right? In all the different Fallout games, there's the NPC names or location names. They're a little bit funky or whatever. But
did she go to Dunwich? Did she get the thing?
She didn't mention Dunwich. She was talking about the Witchcraft Museum, which is Sarah. That was
Dunwich.
Yeah, I think it's Dunwich. I think that
Dunwich. Yeah. Okay. Those New Englanders, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's like Greenwich, right? Greenwich is Greenwich. So I think.
Yeah, I guess.
I think Dunwich, I believe, is Dunwich. So Witchcraft Museum, wonderful location, among the favorite locations of many Fallout 4 players. I think you will have a very good time in the Witchcraft Museum.
There is a cool quest there that sort of goes in tandem with a bar in Diamond City, I believe, right? Yes.
Wait. I'm sorry. What? Diamond City? Sorry, you lost me.
I believe that it's all interconnected. There's the Witchcraft Museum has sort of a connection to that Mr. Handy Robot, who's the waiter at the.
Oh yeah. Right. That's right. Yeah. So there's.
I don't want to spoil too much, but
the Witchcraft Museum, you pick up the quest from just random chatter. Like, it's one of the things that the Diamond City guards talk about. Oh, I heard something that went down at the Witchcraft Museum and save them. But you can also get a more specific quest by talking to what is his name? I forget his name. Anyway, the obnoxious Mr. Handy in Diamond City. Yeah, that's right.
He works at the exterior of a bar.
He works at the Snooty bar upstairs. Yeah.
Patio.
So the other thing I noted is Freedom Trail. Freedom Trail is how you get hooked up with one of the 4 major factions of the game. So. It's certainly not necessary. You don't have to follow the Freedom Trail, but at some point, I guarantee you're going to want to, because I think if you're like most Fallout players, you're going to enjoy playing different styles, replays, and everything, and you're going to want to give the faction that you find at the Freedom Trail, you're going to want to give them a try. So definitely go.
It's fun. The Freedom Trail is definitely worth pursuing. It is literally a red line that you follow throughout the city, and it kind of ducks behind debris and it loses itself around corners, so it's kind of annoying to follow the first time that you'll try it. You will get frustrated, I guarantee you, but in subsequent trips you'll know where to go.
And you can shortcut. You don't have to you don't have to follow the Freedom Trail to get to where the Freedom Trail is trying to take you. So you can just go right. Yeah, you can just go right to the end at any time.
Whatever.
So let's see.
So much of the Institute.
Whoops. Sorry about that. I was starting a new video and I forgot to turn the video volume down.
Whoops. What companion would you recommend taking into the Institute? I think it'd be fun to take Nick into it, but she was just mentioning that Nick annoys her.
Yeah.
So
companion of the Institute.
Fun to take Strong in there.
Yeah. Strong could be fun. I mean, I think several of the companions, kind of like the generic human companions, Piper, McCready. I'm blanking on the specific. I think those would all be kind of the same. Yeah, Strong would be different. Let's see. Who else would be? Who else? Yes, I think they're all. I don't know that you can really necessarily go wrong with any of them, right? It's not a terrible. There's no terrible choices.
I don't know that. Are there any followers that have like specific dialogue options that are more in depth in the Institute?
That's a good question. I don't know about the Institute. As we know, like Nick has really good dialogue in Far Harbor.
Yes.
So that's an example of like you definitely want to take Nick. You would definitely want to do a playthrough at Far Harbor with Nick. No question there. Let's see. Curie. Sarah, you may not have even found Curie yet because she is not real obvious.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a good time with Curie. I think Curie is one of the favorite, is generally one of the favorite companions of a lot of people.
Look, okay. That actually makes really good sense with the personality of Curie and what her purpose in the game is, what her outlook is. Take her to the Institute. That would be really fun.
That would be interesting. Make it your mission in life, Sarah, to find Curie if you have not found her.
But do Curie's quest first before taking her to the Institute.
Ooh, well, okay. Well, that's quite a bit of hanging out with Curie.
Is it? Mm.
Well, yeah, but it's fun. It's recommended. So yeah, it depends. There's I think, Sarah, you're finding the joys of the side quests in Fallout 4. So you can certainly spend some time side questing if you want to.
Oh God, so much of that.
So your exploding pants come from when you reverse pickpocket a grenade or a mine onto a character, onto an enemy, or it could be a friend. You could actually put it onto a friendly if you want to. But if you go, so that's an old Fallout trick, is to reverse pickpocket an explosive device onto somebody you're trying to kill, and if you do that, you get an exploding pants. And then money shot is, I believe, money shot is when you have the 4th level of Fortune Finder and you tee off the exploding caps. The exploding caps effect that you get on the 4th level of Fortune Finder. I have never played with that, so I have never gotten a money shot, but I'm pretty sure that's what money shot is. It's good, that Fortune Finder.
I'm not sure if it has something to do with a crit.
No, that one's not a crit. You just randomly, your kills periodically will randomly explode into caps.
Yeah. That's pretty fun. But I have Fortune Finder as one of my assignments for the roundtable, and I couldn't bring myself to cash in past number 2 because I'm only level 2 with that, and I already have more caps than I will ever.
Yeah, it's the same way with if you get so this is related. Also in the luck perks here, you will find Scrounger. If you're having ammo issues, Scrounger is your friend. Because I think if you like a particular gun, or 1 or 2 guns, and you want a lot of one ammo, especially if it's some of the kind of rare stuff like 44, you will get a lot of mileage out of the Scrounger perk. Because what happens with Scrounger is, even if you don't get a ton of your desired ammo, you get a shitload of ammo, which you can then turn around and sell, because ammo is very light. It's practically like currency. So you get all the ammo that you can't use, and you turn around and sell that and buy the ammo that you do need.
Yeah, that is tip number 1, Sarah, for farming ammunition. You can literally farm it through the contraptions workshop. You can actually get like some lead and some fertilizer and steel or copper. It depends on what ammo you're building, but you can actually build a little ammo factory that will produce ammunition for you if you have those different components. Also, what you want to do is, if you're not playing survival mode, because in survival mode, ammunition has weight to it. But if you're playing in anything under survival mode, it's weightless. So always pick up every kind of ammunition and use that as your currency when you're bartering. Just sell all of your ammunition that you're not using for your 308, and then buy all of the vendors' 308 all over town. Like if you go to Diamond City, there's like 3 different vendors that have ammunition there. So get all of their ammunition, all of the 308 all over town. But by getting rid of all of the 10 millimeter that you're not using, or all of the 45, even though 45 is what you really should be using, because everyone knows the combat rifle is the best rifle in the game.
Or there's the radium rifle, which uses 45 as well.
Yes, radium also.
We got a couple of Jeremy McDaniel has popped by the chat, and Grandhammer 40K. So I'm not sure who that is. I'm not sure. It looks like it's somebody who knows the show. So thank you guys both for dropping by. And Grandhammer, I think, is actually making a correct point here. Is that when you're doing the mandatory murder the Institute part of the quest line, you actually can't take a companion with you. I believe he's correct. You go in with your chosen faction, whether it's the Minutemen or whoever, or the Brotherhood, but you don't actually take a companion. Yeah. Hey, it's Leon. Hey, Leon, thanks for swinging by. Leon is Grandhammer.
Feedback from Leon coming up here in just a little bit.
Yeah, so sweet. So maybe we should we could come back to Sarah because Sarah's got lots of great points. It's almost like a little primer for a new player. But I did want to jump on one. The happiness thing. So Sarah, if you are trying to specifically get the 100% happiness achievement, go watch YouTube videos. Because there's a couple of different tricks you can do, and I think pretty much there's a couple different things you'll find in YouTube videos and they work. I've not bothered to do it myself, but so if you're specifically going for 100% happiness, go check out the YouTube videos and use one of the tricks there. Beyond that, it really doesn't matter about happiness. I think anywhere. So actually, something happened to me tonight for the first time ever, in like probably 3,000 hours of Fallout. But if your happiness for your settlements is kind of in the general range of like 30 to 99, it just doesn't matter. You track it and they bitch and they moan, but it doesn't really, I think, have any gameplay effect. If you get 100, you get the achievement. What I had today is okay. So spoiler alert for Sarah. There's a settlement, Somerville Place, down in the southwestern corner of the map. It's the closest settlement to the glowing sea. I don't know, Andrew, do you know that settlement?
Yes, very familiar with that.
Okay.
Juan created an amazing settlement down there once.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so that settlement, when you first get there, it's a guy and 2 kids, and he wants you to do a typical go clear out a spot, and then you can use their workbench. However, there's a slight loophole. If you murder the guy, you can get his workbench right away. And I was not in the mood to do a quest for this fucker when I was playing. I have a true survival game going, no mods, so like vanilla survival, so no fast travel, blah blah blah. And I just I had no desire to schlep back to Taffing the Boathouse just so I could use this fucker's workbench. So I shot him in the head. If you do that, you get the workbench right away.
I do not support that at all, Pat. That is horrible.
You're such a wimp. Jeez. And Curie didn't even mind. I have Curie with me. This is my companion playthrough. I'm trying to always have a companion with me. So anyway, so I had Curie didn't mind that I shot the guy in the head. But what happened was, because I shot him in the head, and then I promptly turned around and did a settlement beacon. I had 3 settlers attracted, and they were hostile to me because I actually got a pop up for the first time ever. Your settlement happiness is low. If your settlement happiness drops too low, you're in danger of losing control of your settlement. And sure enough, I had summoned 3 settlers with the settlement beacon, but they showed up and they were immediately hostile. I'd never had that happen before.
I've never seen them be hostile. You would think they would just leave. You don't think they'd be hostile towards you, jerks.
Yeah. So Jeremy's pointing out something. Somerville in real life is north of Cambridge, Jeremy's saying. So that's kind of a weird.
In Boston.
In Boston, yeah, in real life, yeah. So
what's real life? Come on,
it's just fantasy. No escape from reality. So anyway, so we probably should move. I mean, Sarah's email, lots of great stuff. Unless what else? Oh shit, she was talking about PS4 mods. We could go on all night just with her email.
Hang on, just real quick. She had a point about happiness. You were just talking about happiness. There are a couple of little things that you can do.
Yeah.
You can have the food and drink. You can have the clinic, the clothing, and the trader stands. All of those different things each have each rank of those. The higher you go, they each have a level of happiness that are associated with them. Also, animals.
Cats.
Build the cat and the dog traps. Those add like 10 or 20 happiness.
Are dogs happiness or defense?
I think they're both, actually. Oh, that's a great point. You just scroll through all of the items in your workbench, and that'll tell you. It'll show you.
Point. Yeah.
on your screen what benefits it'll bring up. It's just a smiley face for happiness, or a little shield for defense, or a little, food and water symbol. So just look at your build menu as you just scroll through things, and you'll see what things add. So you can like build a dog trap, or cats. Well, actually, here, let's see. Let's look at the wiki. It says happiness, food and drink clinic, clothing traders, junkyard dogs, cats, and gorillas. Where do you catch a gorilla?
I don't know that you can. I thought we had been through this.
After the Institute, if you played a specific way, I think if you release the gorillas but do not kill them,
yeah,
catch that gorilla. And but I think it's tough to do or something. Yeah. So that's all I had on extra happiness there. I've never gotten that achievement. I think that's one of the sorry about that. I think that's one of the hard things to get.
Yeah. So Sarah, do keep it coming with the PS4 mods report. We have been looking for somebody to give us some feedback on PS4 mods, because
he's doing environmental stuff, texture, springtime sort of stuff. That's
interesting that they can improve the water without doing new assets. I guess that's I guess that makes sense. I don't know enough about how the mods work, but that's interesting that they can make seasons and water without actually violating Sony's asset rules.
You think they'll ever figure that out?
Well, there's with the new the new like paid mods thing Bethesda's doing. I'm assuming they're going to get that working on Sony on PS4. Whatever it's called. I didn't follow the E3 announcement that closely, but that new paid mods community, I'm assuming they'll make it work.
They better, right? Come on. All right, so we got lots of other feedback to get through. Did you have an email or anything you wanted to get into?
Yeah, so I have an email. I promised to get back to this a couple weeks ago. This is from Brandon, and I wanted to save it because he has a couple things in his email, but one of the things he was talking about was the final quest objective in Dead Money, and I thought, well, I would wait till I had posted my New Vegas Let's Play Dead Money final quest before getting this email. So that posted about a week and a half ago. So this would be a good time to pull up Brandon's email. So Brandon, thank you for writing in. You actually sent this in maybe even 6 weeks ago. And like I said, wanted to save it. So this is from Brandon. Again, he's going to touch on a few different things. He's talking about a playthrough of his. For the multiple times that I played through Dead Money, I've consistently come to the conclusion that a good melee, sneak, AP, and medicine build is probably one of the best builds to use. During the DLC, I made my way around the map collecting anything I could find, such as ammo, stems, and the assassin suit. Love the assassin suit. Good call there, Brandon, for sure. Because a lot of the threats in the DLC are attacking with melee weapons, I used a borderline cheating method of combat. I would literally just jump around in circles around them while hitting and using bats. I don't think that's cheating. That's using bats in a smart way. There were some times when it was too difficult to get by using a gun, so I kept a police pistol with plenty of ammo on me. I really did not like using the holo rifle too much. Yeah, that's pretty similar with me with my Arthur playthrough. Not a lot of explosives available in Dead Money, so that didn't play well with Arthur. So I wound up using a lot of the police pistol a lot as well. For the end of the DLC, I used the quote gold bar stacking unquote method. And I actually did not look that up. I just grabbed 4 gold bars and was happy with that. As he's indicating, there's other things to do. While Father was in his way to the vault, thinking that we were inside, willing to talk to him, I snuck out of the room using the stealth boy and my high sneak skill to get by him while carrying the gold bars. At this point, it's good to have the long haul perk so you can teleport while over encumbered. By selling the gold bars over the course of the next few days, I was able to pull off enough caps to buy most of the GRA Gunrunner's Arsenal weapons and mods. Altogether, I probably spent a good 8 hours of this build in Dead Money. A large portion of that was exploring and some dying. So cool. Brandon, thanks a lot for writing in. So if you write back in, let me know how many gold bars you were able to get out with your long haul perk and other your other techniques. Like I said, Arthur's got a strength of like 3 or 4 or something, so he's pretty wimpy. And I think I only got out with 4.
Yeah, I think my roundtable character was assigned like a 5 or 6 in strength, and I still have a 5 or 6. That's something I never invest in for some reason. I do not care about that.
Yeah, yeah. So so and of course, New Vegas doesn't have any disabling of fast traveling in the hard, it's hardcore mode, not survival mode, but it's you can still fast travel. So so even if you're going hardcore, you can still fast travel.
I'm excited. I need to get back into New Vegas. I actually I have my guy I like to talk to over at my video game store, so I had him look up, see if we can get some New Vegas. I put the feelers out, say, hey, if a New Vegas comes in for Xbox, set it aside for me. So
nice.
I've got it for PlayStation 3, so I could start it on PlayStation 3 in the meantime. Actually, I already have a character going that I started, but I got like stuck. As before it's like I got it a couple weeks before Fallout 4 came out, so I wanted to try to get used to like a little bit of Fallout, but I was like sort of confused. I didn't really understand. But now that I got into Fallout 4 a lot, I've been playing Fallout 3, and I figure I'm about at least a third, if not a halfway through that main storyline on Fallout 3. So it's been a lot easier to dig into it after I'd gotten used to how sort of the game structure works and the menus and the trader menus and all that sort of stuff. Now that I'm used to this sort of a system, Fallout 3 was a lot easier to get into. So I'm excited to go back to New Vegas again, give that a run, because a lot of you guys say that New Vegas is the best of the series so far. So I'm sort of anticipating that,
Yeah, no, I think you're gonna like it when you have a chance to really focus on it a little bit and really give it some focused and steady attention. It's really good. I think you're used enough to playing with different games and all that. I'm looking. I think the graphics. I don't think you'll mind the graphics.
Well, Fallout 3 was a little bit of a shock, not like a shock, but sort of like a whoa. But now I'm totally used to it, and it doesn't bother me at all. Now Pat, I know everyone plays first person in these things. That I'm a third person point of view player in these games, but I'm playing a lot of first person in Fallout 3 because the camera is pulled out so far. It's like you're basically playing. What are those over the head like point and click games called? What are those things called?
Oh, the ISO.
Yeah, the ISO games. It's basically like you're playing that because the camera zooms out so far. It's weird. I don't like it at all. It's Fallout 4, you can basically see your character sort of like over the shoulder and their back. You can't really like see all the way to the ground, but in Fallout 3 it's zoomed out so far. It's super annoying. Yeah, I'm playing lots of first person, but all right. Let's get in, sorry, did you have anything else you wanted to get into?
No, I think again, lots to unpack from Sarah's note. We can we can come back to it, or feel free to just drop us a note. Oh, actually, sorry. What? Congratulations on the baby. I totally missed that from her other email that she has another little one on the way. So congratulations on that. Hope things go well as you.
She has a rad baby on the way, due in a couple of weeks. She said, so congrats on that. Quick tips, Pat. Were home gaming systems around when you were having babies?
No, well, no. I was doing PC gaming then. Of course,
be a little tough.
Yeah, so I think for me, basically, I would like game while the kids were asleep. Yeah, for me.
With a if you're a console player though, it's wonderful to just sort of I have, God, I almost called it a yurt. That's not it. That's like a hut. There's a wrap thing that's like about 8 feet long, sort of elastic, stretchy thing. God, what are those damn whatever. But put the baby asleep across your chest, wrap the baby up in that across you, and then you'll have both hands free. And you can sit down and play with your console controller. I did that all the time when my little guy was sleeping across my chest. Nice. Now he's at the point where he's taking a 2 or 3 hour nap in the afternoons. So that's when I get my gaming time done, when he's a toddler. That's pretty good. Yeah, good luck with the kid in gaming too. It can be done. You can get some good gaming done during feeding and stuff, especially if you get one of those bands to wrap around you. You can sort of tie the baby in any position so that you can, you can breastfeed and game at the same time. You can have the baby sleep across you, or, those rock and plays. Put the baby right beside you in the rock and play, and you can use your foot to sort of tap the baby back and forth to rock the baby, and play your games with that. Do not fall asleep with your baby on the couch. I know you're a good mom, but don't fall asleep while feeding your baby. Dangerous stuff. So congrats on the baby again. Yeah, that's awesome, Sarah. Good job. We'll come back. She has lots of things in there. I also have lots of points in Sarah's email that I still want to get to. But we'll go ahead and listen to Uncle Blake has chimed in. So we'll go ahead and check in with Blake and say hello.
Hello, it's your Uncle Blake. And Andrew has been motivating me to get some feedback in. I'm playing my second playthrough of Fallout 4. I say playthrough, but I never finished the first playthrough at all. I never saw the ending. I listened to the Fallout feed while they're going through the game. And once I knew the ending, I just was like, well, now I know how it ends. This is fine. I'll play something else. But lately I decided I wanted to see that ending for myself and make the choices myself. So I'm on my merry way. I guess I'll start at the beginning. The baby was crying and this Vault Tech guy showed it. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all, you know that part of the story. I'm not doing any specific like playthrough style. I'm just kind of dumping my special points where I see fit. I'm doing a lot of gun nut and science. That way I can really like upgrade the weapons as much as possible. Kind of skipping the blacksmith and armor stuff. I don't really mess with the armor too much. Sanctuary Hills is my main home. That's where I go back to unload everything anyway. I'm trying to get all the settlements and establish a radio beacon and all that stuff at each settlement. That way I can go back and check in. I've got a supply line from every settlement to Sanctuary Hills and an artillery, which is really cool. I heard Andrew talking about that, and that's been a lot of fun so far. When you want to clear out a gunner camp or a raider camp, you just pitch that flare over the wall and turn on the radio and just go in and mop up what's left, which usually isn't very much. On the main quest, I just went and saw Virgil, and now he wants me to go to CIT and wait for a courser to get the courser chip. So I've kind of stopped the main quest right there. I've been doing some stuff with the railroad. Trying to remember where I'm at with them. I can't remember. Tinker Tom's gonna be putting weather vanes and stuff out everywhere. I don't feel like that's part of their main quest. Let's see what else. Preston's got me getting settlements and going to help settlements and all that stuff as usual. And I've done some stuff with the Brotherhood, but I went and did the first. I forget the name of, not Strong. Is it Strong? Like Fort Strong or something? Anyway, I went and cleared that out, went back and talked to Elder Maxon, and then now he tells me like, well, I'm sure if you hear anything from anybody else, you'll let us know. And then I didn't get another quest from him, so I don't know really what else to do with the Brotherhood. I'm trying to do as much with each faction as I can until I get to a point where I have to choose one. I'm still not sure who I'm going to choose. I don't think it's going to be the Railroad, though. I'm rolling with Strong again. I got everybody pretty much. I got McCready, ran with him for a little while. Started with Strong. Once I got Strong, he ran around with me for the longest time. Dropped him off and ran around with Piper for a while. And I had her in the Grognak costume, which was a nice look for Piper. But she followed me for a while. They took her back, got Kate, took her back. Nick's still at Diamond City, done everything with him. He's just sitting there waiting if I need him. My favorite quest so far, of course, the USS Constitution. I went and did it. The Seal Ironsides and got the Broadsider, which is a really underwhelming weapon, by the way. it shouldn't take 4 cannonballs to kill a synth. So I just wanted to get it. And this playthrough is the first time that I've ever gone back to the USS Constitution once it crashes into the other building and talk to him again. And all you get is a lieutenant's hat, and he lets you have access to the captain's quarters. But when you go in there, it still shows if you try to touch anything that you're going to steal it. So, but you can use the bed. So it is what it is, I guess. Bug quest. I started the big dig in Good Neighbor. I had Piper with me. We went and got Mel out of jail in Diamond City. Started going through and blasting the walls with the robot and stuff. And I don't know what happened. Ghouls came through and somehow Mel became hostile. So he won't command the robot to knock down the walls anymore. So I wasn't really sure what to do. I used some console commands and turned the clipping off and just walked through. I was to the last wall until you get under like the storage room. So I clipped through the last wall. Mel came through, the robot came through, Piper didn't come through, and she kept attacking Mel. She'd kill him, get him down on one knee, and then once he get back up, he'd start attacking me, and she'd kill him again. Well, kind of kill him. But I went up through the bottom of the clip, through the bottom of the floor, up into the top of the storage room, and I forget her name, the chick from Good Neighbor. It's like Hancock's right-hand woman. She was there, and she kept having this one voice line. She just kept repeating over and over and over again. You could walk all around in there, but whatever happens wouldn't trigger after that. So I just kind of abandoned that quest. But I've also heard you can have Hancock as a follower, and I don't know if you can get him without doing the big dig quest. So if anybody knows, then let me know. I've been to talk to him. He doesn't really seem interested in, being a follower. So I may just miss out on Hancock this time around. Right now in the game, I was roaming around some, found the Atom Cats, and I'm going to do some quests for them. They need me to go over to Warwick Homestead, which is fine because I got a quest from Preston to go to Warwick Homestead, so I'm going to kill those 2 birds with 1 stone, and just see where it takes me from there. I'll probably go back, see what else is available to the railroad, and I'm sure Preston will have something else. It seems to never end. But once all that is done, I guess I'll continue on with the main quest. Which, going to see Virgil, I know it's off the map, but it's weird and it was crazy just heading out into the glowing sea and not like running off the edge of the map, and then you stop running into like anything out there. So I got past the death claws and glowing everything, rad roaches, stuff like that, until there was just like no more enemies at all. It was bizarre. I guess it just was like nothing can live out here. It's so far out. But that's it so far, and I'll send in some more feedback when I get finished. I probably got another couple weeks. I want to try and stretch this out, see how far I can get. Missed out on the last DLC sale again because car insurance was due, and it was car insurance or DLC, so car insurance won. But I'm going to get it eventually. Like I said, I want to just get through this vanilla playthrough one time at least, and then I'll check out the DLC after that. But that's all for now. Thanks, everybody.
Nice.
Great. Blake actually sent in 2, so we can roll in right into a second one and see how he finished the game if you'd like to know.
Let me just to answer one question before I forget, or one he did mention the Brotherhood. What through the Brotherhood? With the Brotherhood, you want to make sure you walk all the way through the blimp and talk to everybody, because there's a few different, the Zeppelin or whatever the hell it is, the Pridwin. Yeah. And remember, you can go inside the Pridwin and like walk around up inside there on the different levels inside the infrastructure, the skeleton of the thing. And up in there, there's a couple of different things you can find that you can do. And of course, they've got their Radiant quest. If you're in the mood just to burn through some Radiant quests for XP, you can always go talk to the Nimrods at the Cambridge Police Station to get their Radiant quests.
Yeah. There's those 2 with the Radiant quest and stuff. let's see. I didn't know Piper could wear the Grognak.
Well, remember, that's one of the few things that changes from most of the stuff in the game. If you put a red dress on a guy, he's wearing a red dress. But Grognak changes. It's just a loincloth for men. But if a woman puts it on, it's a bikini basically.
Ooh, Piper.
Fix those teeth though, man.
I believe you have to take the big dig all the way to completion.
I think that's right. Yeah.
So go ahead and finish that one with Bobby No Nose, and then I believe Hancock will be available. I don't know if it's dependent upon how you play the quest though, so you might want to be careful with that.
I don't think it is. I think you can get Hancock available. It is faster if you side with Hancock at the conclusion of the big dig.
Yeah. Blake, you mentioned the phrase "two birds with one stone" in relation to the Minutemen with cashing in a trip down to Warwick Place or Homestead, whatever it's called. My suggestion is make Preston your follower, and then you don't have to keep going back to Sanctuary all the time in order to cash in those quests. He's just standing right next to you, and you don't have to waste time fast traveling back and forth, or God forbid, running all the fucking way back between Warwick and Sanctuary, because good Lord. If it was just from the castle, that wouldn't be a big deal, because he does spend some time down at the castle depending on where you are in the storyline. But yeah, so we got some more from Blake. Was there something else on our list we wanted to check off before we get into more feedback there?
Well, we could mention that Michael Podfather is doing some fun stuff over on the Facebook page. So anybody who's subscribed to the Facebook page has probably seen some of these pop up. But if you have not, he's doing some Facebook Live. So some of his, I think they've done Chatterbox and Skyrimatic as Facebook Live events. So if you're on the Facebook page and happen to be online at the time he's recording one of those, you can join live and see what's going on the Facebook Live chat for some of the other shows. So we have not tried that we're not that bold here at the Fallout feed, but
he's a pretty man. I'm not that brave.
And well, Michael's always he's cutting edge too, right? He's always willing to he's always willing to go for it, So if you have a chance to go check out go check it out. Look at the Facebook Live chat.
Yeah, I like ducking in and making just a few comments and watching a few minutes here and there. But you can always go back and listen to the podcast later too. So that's always fun. Yeah. Also, we should mention just real quick the Philly Podfest if we haven't already. Is that the July I don't know, probably 14th, and it goes for that weekend and the weekend after too. But are we the 16th, Pat? If I remember right, I believe we are July 16th.
Whoops, sorry, I misupdated. We are Sunday the 16th. That's correct. 5 p.m. I think at Tattooed Moms. No tickets or anything. Some of the Podfest stuff has ticket, but our episode, our recording does not, and we're going to be doing it. So Michael, Andrew's coming into town, Victor, Ray's coming into town. I think Denny's going to be free, and anybody else who's around, we're going to do something TBD of a combined Fallout feed Skyrimatic. We spent an hour talking about zoos at the top of this show, so I don't know how we're going to limit ourselves to an hour with 2 different shows, but we'll figure it out.
That's God. They'll cut our mics and we'll just sit there and talk more.
Yeah.
Just off the stage. Oh, great. So I say we just go ahead and roll into Blake's.
Let's bounce. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It's your Uncle Blake, and I have finished, air quotes, Fallout 4, which I just posted about it in the group. And Lee commented and said, well, define finished. Well, I was playing vanilla, and I saw the cutscene at the end, so I'm going to take that as finished. Now, I've had hundreds of messages from you guys wanting to know who Uncle Blake sided with for the end of the game. Well, it was a hard choice because what I played of the Brotherhood I kind of enjoyed, and I kind of got what the Railroad was doing. And the Institute, it was really clean on the inside and nice, and I really liked the music in the Institute. But I figured for my first playthrough, I decided to go with the Institute. I met my son. He wanted me to take over. Didn't really agree with him just turning me loose out of the cryogenics vault and just leaving me to see if I'd make it. But I wanted to take over his legacy. So I destroyed the Brotherhood and had to kill Desdemona, which that was harder than doing anything with the Brotherhood for me. Was having to go kill Desdemona. And at that point, Deacon I took to Sanctuary. So I had to fast travel back to Sanctuary. And of course, everybody's like hanging out where the crops and stuff are all around him. And Deacon starts shooting at me. So I just murdered Deacon in front of all the settlers and followers at. But yeah, I chose the Institute. When I finished the game up, I had Kate as a follower. She had on a courser outfit and some sunglasses, and she was swinging around Grognak's axe, and she was pretty good with it. I got it from the comic book shop, Hubris, and she was really good with the axe. So if you want to give her something that she's good with, I recommend letting her swing that axe around in your next playthrough. Favorite gun was still the railway rifle. I love that thing. It was a blast. I played with some of the other guns, some of the laser rifles and stuff like that, but I kept going back to the railway rifle. That was just my absolute favorite. If there's anything else of note, when I finished up, I left. Well, after the cutscene was over, I fast traveled back to Sanctuary. And where one of the houses were, where you could like completely level one of the houses and it was just a concrete pad, that's where I set up the artillery in Sanctuary. And I built a little like metal box beside it, little house beside it with power, and had power going out to like a spotlight outside that was shining on the artillery. And inside it was just a chair and a radio tuned to the Minutemen radio. So as I got back to Sanctuary, it was like sunset. And I kind of just stood there and just admired the scenery and everything and thought about my journey through the Commonwealth. And right before I cut it off, I went in and sat down in the chair in the little shack, and that was it. And then right after that, I uninstalled Fallout 4. Not at all. That just means that's it for me for now. But I'm going to wait a little bit. As of right now, the Steam Summer Sale is going on. So I'm planning on this Friday picking up the DLC. So I'm going to get the DLC and start looking at mods, and then Fallout 4 will be back again. I get to play through and do all the DLC stuff, which I'm looking forward to. But that's it. I went with the Institute. And now I just need to go through a couple more times and do the other endings to find out how all that works out. But thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the Wasteland.
Awesome. Thank you, Blake, for writing in. That's
what is this uninstall that he's talking about? I don't understand. What does that word mean? Why would you do that to Fallout? That doesn't make any sense.
He's one of those guys who plays a ton of games. You know what I mean? Like, I've got the attention span to learn. I know it sounds weird to not have the attention span to play a bunch of different games. It sounds like a short attention span would play a lot of different games, but in reality, for me, how it works is it takes a long attention span to learn all the mechanics and rules and stuff of a new world. So I'd rather not, have to expand my mind, because I'm a lazy person who likes to just exist in a world that I'm familiar with. Yeah. So Fallout is like totally easy every time. It takes a lot of attention to learn a new game. So, my short attention span just keeps me on one game.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way I am. I have a copy of Shadow of Mordor, and I played it a little bit. And I know that got very, very good reviews. On average, people like it a lot. But
and you are a Tolkien guy.
Yeah, but I just couldn't get it. The mechanics were too confusing to me, and there was too many like different sort of like things on screen. It's like, no, I just want a Pip-Boy back. So I I couldn't deal with it. So
wish this fucking hobbit had a Pip-Boy.
Come on, Frodo, whip out your Pip-Boy.
Oh, that's incredible.
So good to hear from Blake. Be sure to give us reports on your DLC experience. Hopefully you'll have some fun with that.
Yeah, reinstall and get that DLC rolling. I enjoyed his the way he finished though. That seemed very appropriate to just stroll into town at sunset, having the Minutemen radio, and just sit in his little place and have the game be done. And
I like the idea of Kate in a courser suit with the Grognak axe. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a good look.
Does that really do a lot of damage? Isn't that just like a plastic movie prop?
No, it's really good. It's slow, so I don't always use it because it's the slow speed, but it has a good legendary effect. I think it's bleeding, but here, let me look it up real quick. But it's got a really good legendary effect, and it does a decent chunk of damage.
Nice. No, I don't know. It probably has some sort of legendary effect, I'm assuming.
No, it does. It does. That's what I'm checking. I believe it's bleeding.
Bleeding. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. No, actually, no. It's both. Okay. Hits from this weapon cause more stagger, and targets take bleed damage.
Oh, stagger and
it also has a hidden effect of less AP cost in VATS.
Oh, wow. That's really nice.
So it's actually okay. So no wonder it seems better than it should as a medium. Okay, that's anyway. It's a good melee weapon. It's quite good.
You get more hacks with that.
That's right, man. More hacks. It's not moddable, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good out of the box.
Hey, Leon is hanging out in the chat, so I think we should play Leon's greetings to us here. I got to pull up the email here, but I think this is Leon here. Say,
let's go for it.
How's it going?
G'day, this is Leon from Texas playing Olivia for the roundtable. This is for episode 4. I've done the parks a little bit out of order just because of the way things happened, but it's still for episode 4. So heading back to Nuka World, Olivia heads to the World of Refreshment. Working her way around the bottling plant, she has to fight a new breed of Mirelurks that glow blue from the quantum-infused water. These Nuka-Lurks are tougher than normal, but Olivia's boomstick, her shotgun, finishes off most of them, but she breaks out righteous authority for the queen. Next, inside the plant, there's the remains of some gunners that had tried to sneak into it. They're all dead. Olivia had wiped out the base camp on the overpass remnants before she had started clearing the park, so she had known they would be here if you read the terminals. More Mirelurks and some robots, a hidden Cappy, and a Nuka-Cola set of power armor. Cool, this one she would keep here in Nuka World. She turned the plant over to the operators and then headed to Galactic Zone. Robots everywhere. The cola-shooting robots are the worst. Thank God for power armor. Quickly heading to the starport, Olivia discovers she needs to find star cores to place in the computer. Luckily, she found some wandering the park and had picked them up, thinking they might be useful. She was able to shut down the Mr. Handy and the turrets after some short work, and after the Vault Tech exhibit and the battle zone, she had the 20 cores that she needed to kill the defensive protocol, making further exploration a lot easier. Highly recommend anybody that does these quests do Nuka World, the Galaxy Zone last, pick up all the star cores everywhere else, then do Vault Tech and the Battle Zone, so you do not have to do that the rocket ride. That rocket ride with the robots and stuff still being active in defensive mode is just insane. So just skip it and get all the others, and you get the 20 that turns off defensive protocol. She collected all but one core, but she would have to get the power back on before she could get to that last core. During these explorations, she had collected the last medallion needed for Nira, who gave her several varieties of Nuka-Cola and the last of the hidden Cappies. She went back and told Sierra what she had found, and refreshing was the password. Really? 200 years and no one had tried that phrase. Okay. Heading inside, they found a small office with a hidden elevator that led down to a small personal vault. Interesting. Once in there, they found the still living head of Brad Burton, who wanted to die. Sierra didn't want Olivia to kill him, and Olivia figured since Sierra was crazy, she would agree with her, so she wouldn't attack, and then quickly killed Aspire so that he could die. Olivia still wanted the Nuka recipe for the Nuka launcher. Sierra still attacked, and Olivia killed her. Attacking somebody in power armor when you got just a little pipe gun, not a brilliant idea. But hey, actually that worked out for the best. Now Olivia could use this vault area as the base for the Institute in Nuka World. She is the only one with the code, and the Institute can relay in and set up shop. So after this, Olivia is level 57. She took another perk in Commando and Scrapple. Overall, her plans are coming together pretty nicely for the roleplay. In the next episode, that'll be kind of the finale to episode 5 with the last of the, going into the Commonwealth and stuff. So once I'm done with that particular episode's wrap up, I'll give a idea of my kind of the overall plan, the story that's kind of took place in my mind while I was playing Olivia, but that'll be in the next voicemail.
Nice. Thank you so much, Leon. That was another great audio feedback. Have you ever found all the hidden cappies? Is he talking about the ones you have to have the dumb glasses for and stuff?
Yeah, those are not too hard. I didn't even have to cheat for those. You just got to remember to keep the stupid glasses on. Like if you switch out your, because they're actually look kind of funny. I like the look, but if you like, usually I'm wearing either charisma or perception glasses. So so if I forget and put back on my regular glasses, because what happens is you can see the cappy without glasses, but you can't see the hidden letter without the glasses. So you actually, if you really want to keep your regular eyewear, you can just walk around, and then when you see Cappy, you can just switch out and look at it with the glasses if you want to. I think it's 9 or 10. And
there's also like a medallion for each.
Yeah.
That you have to find. There's lots of little
hidden
puzzles and quests and stuff to dig up here that I still have not even done.
Yeah, the medallions are also easy. You just punch the machine, and once you get all the medallions, you turn them in for, I forget.
I just never.
The Cappy reward is worth doing because you like Leon was saying, you get into the Brad Burton stuff and all that, and that's definitely worth doing once. The medallion reward, I don't remember. I think it's pretty bad.
He mentioned this Brad Burton stuff. I'm excited to get into that again. I've done all this Nuka World stuff, but it was a long time ago. I'm excited to refresh my memory about the head in the jar and stuff. This sounds like an episode of Futurama or something.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
incredible. Great, Leon. Thanks a lot for sending in another great voicemail. Pat, I have written down here continual character. I was thinking maybe that you should, and this will of course be a little bit out of order at this point, but for a giant Let's Play project, is there any way you can do a continual character all the way through Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas? Then can your character somehow stumble his way, weaving a story from DC, and then all of a sudden, whoops, how the fuck did I end up in New Vegas? And oh my god, now I'm all the way back.
Yeah. Ooh, wow, that's a really interescling thought.
Brotherhood of Steel related, I'm assuming, right? Because
there's different things. I mean, look, so clearly you can't do it with the vanilla story because Fallout 4 ruins that, right? So you clearly have to think alternate start or whatever, or you use an alternate start and just think of yourself as somebody who was somehow got to Boston through whatever. That is a really interesting concept. You could do Brotherhood of Steel. You could the Institute is actually in 2 out of the 4 games. So you could do some like an Institute thing and like construct some sort of Institute side quest or something where like you're an Institute, like you're an Institute operative, and you do the Institute stuff in 3. You figure out some rationale for going to maybe Fisto. Maybe you're looking for Fisto for the Institute. And then when you get back to Fallout 4, you have to decide: do you like the Institute still, or are you pissed off at them because you realize they're jackasses and you want to kill them? So yeah, that's a really interesting idea. Yeah. So I guess what you'd do is I think part of that would be, I think you'd want to play the same special, right? You or at least start out your special in the next game. Well, I guess you couldn't. That's interesting because you couldn't, because you start out with a limited number of special points. I don't remember. Oh wow! I really like this. So I'll tell you another idea. An idea I had for something. I was watching, my weirdest build, my favorite Twitch streamer, and he was doing he's done a no perks build, and he also is just recently finished a no items build, naked. So the character is naked all the time. Picks up no items whatsoever other than caps and quest items. So nothing. No guns, no ammo, no clothing, no armor, nothing. That's just a wild concept, finishing the game that way.
I love those restrictive character playthroughs that people do.
Yeah,
like Weird still seems to do a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
Michael also likes to do his restrictive.
He's talking about that smithing only character in Skyrim. It looks really interesting.
The only character who doesn't do any quests. He just goes out and finds mines and adventures by finding his ores and stuff like that. Also, he did a vegan character. I don't know if you remember that playthrough that he did once. And
that was, I think he did that before I kind of joined the community, but I've heard him talking about it. It sounds pretty interesting.
He's got lots of really interesting characters where he likes to do restrictions. So that's really cool. That's great.
Yeah. So the thing I was thinking about doing if I was going to do it, I actually may try this for my next New Vegas playthrough. Was what I was thinking of as a jack of all trades build, where I start out all my specials at the same level, and so New Vegas has a different skill system where you give your skills. You have I think it's 11 skills, and you give them points. So what I was thinking about for that is start out all special at the same level, whatever, 4, 3.5, 3, or some at 4, some at 5, whatever, and take every skill up, so that rather than typically you min max, right? You say, okay, I'm going to be a guns character, so I'm going to get my guns up to 75 as fast as possible. But you get about, depending on your intelligence, between 12 and 17, 11 and 19, depending on the extremes, skill points. So basically, if you're going to be this jack of all trades, you would put 1 point into every skill practically. So it would be just like the anti min max thing. And I was thinking that that would be an interesting challenge, because your lock picking would go up really slow, your weapon skills will go up really slow, but you'd be a little bit good at everything. And can that work in a video game environment? So I was thinking about giving that a try in New Vegas.
A little bit good at everything.
Yeah.
Sounds like me in real life.
Yeah.
not really awesome at anything useful. Just sort of can sort of be okay at a lot of different things. Kind of useless in life. So let's go ahead and check in with Ray. If you're all right with that, let's go.
Hello, Fallout Roundtable. Ray here with the ongoing tale of Maximilian the Raider. He went to Dry Rock Gulch, ran into a couple of bloodworms as they went to enter them in the area. Dispatched those rather quickly with the help of his follower Gage. Walked into the park and ran into Sheriff Eagle. A little quick conversation, and he told him about needing to get the safe combination for the key to Mad Mulligan's mine. So as we were getting ready to leave to go talk to the other robots, he gave us the appropriate attire. So a cowboy hat and a Western outfit, neither of which one Max put on. So the first one we ran into was the Giddy Up Kid, and he wanted us to find the Giddy Up Buttercup. So we went on our way. and ran into One-Eyed Ike, who wanted to have a shootout on Main Street. So Max took the gun that he gave us, a Western revolver, and twinked him in the head and won the shootout. So he got the key from One-Eyed Ike on to Doc Phosphate's bar, where we agreed to go ahead and serve the drinks to all the dead people. Went back, and Doc Phosphate gave us the key as we were heading back through the park, constantly being attacked by bloodworms, ants, and some flying creatures that were kind of like stingwings. We came across a Giddy Up Buttercup that had been shoved in a trash bin, pulled it out, took it back to the Giddy Up kid, and got his key. We went and opened up the safe, got the key to the mine, all the while more bloodworms and ants. Going down into the roller coaster, it didn't take long to chop up all the bloodworms down there. We did run into the bodies of some prospectors that had, or not prospectors, but merchants that had tried to escape Nuka World, only to meet their fate with the bloodworms. So back up out, we found a Star Core and reported back to Sheriff Eagle, who gave us a couple of 100 caps. We hoisted the flag for the pack and received our XP. Max had at one point been out exploring Nuka World and had come across the Angry Anaconda roller coaster build site. So he had already bumped into Cito, got Dr. Hines' passcode, and had started taking out gator claws. He found that Adam's Judgment did about the best job on them. 2 whacks, and they were gone. So he had already gone into the Welcome Center, shut down the cloning facility, killed the albino gator claw. He just had 5 gator claws left to track down and dispatch before going back and talking to Cito. So after wrapping that up, he was able to convince Cito that he should leave the park because the raiders were going to be coming to live there and it wouldn't be a safe place for him and his family. And he agreed and gave Max Cito's Shiny Slugger, which with his Big Leagues perk makes it a pretty substantial weapon at over 250 hit points. Once again, assigned a Savari Venture to the pack. So at this point, we've given 4 of the parks to the pack, and haven't really heard anything from the operators or that other group of raiders who will end up killing later. So anyway, that is where Max is at now. He won the race with Smoke and by just jumping off and running. He does have enough AP to do a little bit of sprinting. After ringing the bell, before he had a chance to talk to Smoke, they were set upon by an Assaultron, but between he and Gage, they were able to dispatch that fairly quickly and get the power armor from Smoke. Full exposure, it went pretty smoothly. I also have some experience with old world developing techniques, and so was able to get everything together, develop the negatives. Of course, returning to full exposure, finding out that she didn't have the caps to pay Max for the work, so forced to kill her and loot the place for what was due. And now he's off to find the person who had brought the camera in. We'll see what goes from there. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
That's just like Ray, right? Pulling the good old killing loot.
Yep.
Kill the whole room, and just people say ask questions later. He doesn't even ask questions. He just kills everyone and takes their stuff. Good job, Max. 2 Maxes. Weren't there another play along character also had a Max character?
I forget the name. We have had so many, which was terrific. I'm like literally having trouble keeping everything straight. We've had so many. We need like a census. We need like that actually would be a project. Maybe for the next round table, we'll start that off up front. We'll
Where
do like well, this is like back in the day. I'm showing the age. Like you used to do like before there was Facebook, there were Facebooks, which is like basically an album of like your freshman class. You could send in a picture, and there would be like literally like a hard copy book that was a Facebook of people's faces. We could do like a virtual Facebook of people's characters, and like have people send in a character shot and a bio and everything else. It actually might be kind of fun to do like a little recap of the roundtable season.
we can do the Fallout feed yearbook and have everyone sign each other's yearbook.
Character voted most likely to blow his head up.
Arthur, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Arthur.
He said there's a star core there. I've seen a couple of star cores I've come across. I've decided to not pick anything up yet because I want to get them all at once in one big run. So I'm taking note of the ones that I found.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
As I piecemeal them and then accidentally miss one somewhere. So I want to
question for you. So you did the no Raider playthrough. So you've already got power back at the Red Rocket.
Yes.
Did you just get the power back, or did you have to go turn it on at the power plant?
The power is not plant. I just built a power generator. I just was granted. There's not like power to the park.
Oh, so your workbench at the Red Rocket works. Okay, okay. Which you did because
power. Yeah.
Spoiler alert: the last star core is at the power station.
Yeah, and that is the one that grants you to get the Nuka armor.
Yeah, Quantum Exo 1.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's so I think there's 35 of them, and like 29 or 31 or something are in the or kind of in the shit. What's the location? The robot location or whatever. Yeah.
The star, the galaxy one. This one. There's probably 5 or 6 out scattered around the rest of the park. Here's a question for you, Pat. What happens to Cito when you tell him to fuck off? You're like, hey, it's not safe for you and your family here. Do they go to somewhere?
I think they just go away, like they leave. I mean, you can kill them. You can kill them outright. You can tell them to hang around but be friendly with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Or you can tell them to fuck off. I think they leave if you tell them to fuck off.
And they just disappear from the game, or do they go somewhere?
I thought they disappear, but it's been too long since I told them to fuck off. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah, interesting. I wish that you could tell them where to go.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Like send them to Far Harbor or something.
Yeah, have some gorillas in the mist going on in Far Harbor. Yeah, so that's great. Ray, of course, wonderful feedback as always. Always love hearing from Ray. We've got a couple of lengthy ones coming up here. Pat, was there anything you wanted to mention before we hop into it?
So actually, maybe you know what, Andrew, it is a little bit late for me. So why don't I do this? Let me do our final little promo, and then if you don't mind, I'll let you wrap up with the longer ones, and I will catch them on the podcast download. What I wanted to do is just a quick promo for what we got coming up. So this time, of course, we had the tail end of session 4. Lots and lots of terrific listener feedback. Next time, we are going to have on Thursday the 6th, so right after the 4th of July, we'll record 10 Eastern time. We are going to do Indecent Exposure and Love and Peace from Tales. Hey, Sarah's out in the chat. As well. So got a good turnout in the chat tonight, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate you guys stopping by and interacting with us. So next time we're going to do Indecent Exposure from Tales, which is the follow-up to what was the one for this week? I already deleted it. the exposure one for this week. Anyway,
Exposure.
yeah. So indecent exposure and love and peace from Tales. The week after that, the 13th, we will do the Grand Tour, Star Control from Nuka World, and Home Sweet Home from Nuka World. And fair warning, if you're doing an anti-raider playthrough of Nuka World, Home Sweet Home will I think this doesn't work for you. If you're doing a pro raider playthrough of Nuka World, Home Sweet Home can be pretty lengthy. It can take a while to get done. So just fair warning there. And then on July 20th, we will come back with listener feedback. So that gives you guys basically 3 weeks to get in your gameplay, get in some feedback. Love having all the feedback we've gotten from the community on this. So please keep those play-alongs rolling in and give us that feedback for the 20th.
Yeah, that sounds great. So Pat, thanks for joining me this evening.
Yeah. Sorry to wimp out on you, but I kind of get pumpkin eyes once it starts getting close to midnight here on the East Coast. So thanks everybody hanging out in the chat. Andrew, great to record with you as always.
Yeah. So please, Pat, join us next week, won't you? And we'll get into some good adventures. And until then, Pat, thank you so much for joining us this
evening. All right, Andrew, enjoy the rest of the feedback. I will catch it on the podcast feed, and I will talk to you guys next week.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and roll right into some Jeremy feedback. Jeremy's in the chat tonight, so shout out to Jeremy. Let's see what Jeremy's getting into tonight.
The Wastelanders. This is Jeremy McDaniel checking in from the Commonwealth of Boston, Massachusetts. I'm just giving you a character update. I think this might be my 5th with the character Michelle Briggs for the Season 3 roundtable. I'll just begin. I did a little prose, and then I'll just talk through some of the latest things I've been up to. Michelle and Deacon were out adventuring over toward East Boston when they came upon a stretch of buildings where the East City Downs used to be, and actually still seem to remain in some semblance. Hearing the commotion of what sounded like a sort of robo horse race, Michelle scoped in to see a mess of raiders, triggermen, and sure enough, racing robots. On the other side of the street, Michelle saw an old bowling alley. It was actually one that her and Nate had been to once many years ago. A firefight or bowling? Michelle decided to head into the bowling alley with Deacon and see if she still had her old skills. Entering inside, they are greeted by Pin, the owner of the joint, and leader of the mess of funny characters there. The bowling alley wasn't quite the same as Michelle had remembered it. As they now used decapitated heads instead of actual balls to bowl. Unfortunately, their last batch of heads was rotted, and Michelle would need to find some fresh heads if she and Deacon wanted to bowl. Although sadistic, Michelle really wanted to bowl, and she and Deacon headed west in search of some weightlifter named Bruce, who Pin suggested as a good lead for a perfect head. Apparently, buff-out addicts have swollen heads, and Apparently, buff-out addicts had swollen heads that work perfect for bowling. Upon arrival at the apartment, they were welcomed by a gruesome scene. The weightlifters were strewn about dead, with mushy heads at that. Checking the bodies, they didn't find Bruce, but instead a note hinting toward a drug deal gone wrong. Putting the clues together from the apartment and the nearby Ball Diamond where the drug deal went down, Michelle deduced that Bruce was captured or killed by the dealers, held up at some makeshift baseball hall of fame in downtown Boston. Still with the itch to bowl a few frames, Michelle and Deacon headed to the baseball sanctuary to further investigate. Expecting typical raider drug dealers, Michelle was surprised to be greeted by a friendly sort of baseball cult that had made a headquarters of the baseball hall. They were friendly, dressed head to toe in baseball garb, and were named after various baseball positions and vernacular. It took Michelle back to the good old days at Great American Ballpark in Fenway. She really loved the cult. It was strange. They were clearly a bunch of nuts who spoke of the great warriors of days gone with their great wooden clubs eternally playing in the fields above in Cooperstown. They talked of angels in the outfield and field of dreams. They were kooks but it was so strangely comfortable and familiar to Michelle. In a display case, Michelle found the famous large skull of the great Bruce the Bat Biden. It was the same one scientists later used to clone a new Bruce the Bat to ravage the modern game of baseball. It would be the perfect bowling ball, so Michelle took it. On the top floor of the building, to Michelle's dismay, she found, locked in a cage, Bruce the weightlifter she'd been looking for. It appeared the cult believed this Bruce to be the cloned reincarnate of Bruce the Bat Biden. Michelle was torn. She had quickly gained an affection for this ridiculous cult, but was realizing the heinous lengths they were willing to express their beliefs. Bruce had to be set free, which the baseball cult did not like, and Michelle was going to have to deal with them. The prison guard cultist on the top floor came at her immediately, but was no match for Zinks' shotgun, thanks to Black-Eyed Bobby. A group of 2 or 3 more came bounding up the stairwell. Michelle aimed her missile launcher toward the wall behind the stairwell and blasted them into mush. Floor by floor, missiles and shotgun shells were whizzing through the rooms and corridors until the baseball team littered the floor. The baseball cult was no more. Michelle collected their hats and uniforms as a token to remember them by, and perhaps it would be the new Grey Garden uniform. She and Deacon headed back to Penn, and Penn was pleased with Bruce the Bat Biden's skull. It was truly the perfect ball, and finally Michelle and Deacon kicked back, cracked a few bottles, and played some frames. And that was just how I played out the house that Bruce built quest. It was definitely my favorite of the Tales quest so far. Perhaps it's because when I was young, I loved baseball cards, and I've always been a fan of baseball, and just felt, like I said in the story, it just felt familiar and fun. I also so I released Bruce at the end, and he just kind of went on his way. I kind of was thinking about killing him and taking his head as well, but wasn't sure if that was an option, and Michelle is too humane for that. I ended up doing the other Tales quests, the 2-lane blacktop. That was a quick, fun one. I did it the first time, and I smoked smokescreen in the race, and was waiting for her or him to catch up, and I forgot to ring the bell, so I lost at first, and I was actually going to just keep on playing through without reloading it, but for some reason I reloaded it. I think I messed something up a short time after, and I was glad I did, because I won the race that time, and I got her awesome Adam Katz armor. Then I did the full exposure. I really liked that quest for the idea of camera film, pre-war camera film being a sort of what do you call those? Like a time capsule, and you don't know what you're gonna get. Funko mystery figures, it's it's something, but it's a surprise what's inside. So I thought that was cool. I also forgot to shoot out the lights my first try overhead. Seems like a few people made that mistake. And also on that quest, I wish they had like a naughty photo. It didn't have to be naughty, but just something funny. I thought that was a missed opportunity when I looked at the naughty photo. It was just gray. They could have put something silly there, but anyway, it was still funny nonetheless. Let's see, other than that, I've been doing railroad quests a little bit still. I finished that up, some of those up before I went to Nuka World, and actually the last one I did was Carrington sent me on a dead drop, and I got a holotape from Agent Blackbird saying he needed assistance, and he ended up being actually at the East City Downs, which I gladly went back to after the house that Bruce built quest, just because it seemed like such an interesting area. And I started out on the Raider side of that, sniped in a few times, a few of the guys from afar, sniped them, and started moving in. I kind of cleared most of the Raider camp when I came upon the terminal, where you could start changing the controls of the racing robots. And so I sent them, I set their targeting to, I guess their default, where it's less safe, where I was assuming they'd start shooting at everything, and And when I did that, that did work, and they started shooting actually at the trigger men across the way, across the track, which was awesome. And then about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then I went back in the terminal and set the self-destruct, sprinted out of the place, and literally as I was exiting, I looked back and just fire explosions, and that was a really awesome quest, just being able to set all those robots off. Self-destructed, and going back, I had to look for all their bodies and see where they ended up and grab all their parts. But that was super epic, seeing those explosions, just that whole place lit up. And so also, I think in my last update, I said I was finally level 30 and hadn't been to Nuke World yet, and it was definitely a time overdue. I actually had a weird glitch, a subtle glitch, where when I turned level 30, I got the Nuke channel, but when I'd play it, it wouldn't play anything. So I actually never did get the kind of show me where Nuka World is. I had to look up where it was. But I started that, and I'm loving Nuka World. It's so great. I can see how it's just a very rich DLC. I'm running around with Porter Gauge there. I've so far, which has been my favorite so far. Story of the ghouls I thought was really, really cool. Some moment in that one too, where in the fun house, the mirror house, that one room where it's a spinning room, and there's like 5. I open the door to go in, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, like there's fucking ghouls everywhere. And I backed up immediately, or actually closed automatically when I did that. I believe the doors in there, they shut automatically after you kind of from them. And I know I have my demo perk, and I'm so used to using the heavy weapons and grenades and stuff. Now at this point, it was just natural, but I just opened the door, threw a frag in, and heard an explosion, and opened the door, and it was just some dead bodies. I just thought that was the perfect use of that demo perk. But finishing up Oswald also with my, and my main weapon of choice, especially in Nuka World, dealing with now I'm in currently in the Safari Zone, dealing with a lot of those with my rocket launcher, the bottling plant. So I got the Nuka power armor. I got Gauge running around in that. I'm running around in the Overboss power armor. And one last thing also in the plant, I just really enjoyed. I ended up clearing out the interior first, the exterior from the roof recently, and I hadn't used it yet. I just recently upgraded my missile launcher to I think a quad. Like a quad barrel. I think it shoots 3 or 4 semi-automatically, I believe. So I got out on that roof, a couple Nuka Lurks, and I saw that Nuka Lurk Queen, and I was like, oh man, now's the time to test out this new missile launcher. And I actually first tested it on some Nuka Lurks on the roof, and I realized how fast I could fire off missiles, just shooting off 2 when I barely tapping the trigger. And but anyway, that I just loved that quad missile launcher. I thought that's awesome. I've been using Gun Nut to be able to upgrade that thing, and it's my new favorite weapon. And I took care of the Nuclear Queen, I think, with 3 of those, maybe 4. But yeah, it's Michelle the Missile Briggs running through the wasteland with that badass thing. I'm dragging on, but a few last things. Still working on my Greyguard mansion. I need to post a picture of that. I need to get working on it more. It's just constantly running out of junk. Gotta always take trips from Nuka World to drop junk off at Greyguard. It's kind of a pain. like I said, I've been doing a lot of gun nut and science to be able to upgrade my weapons. I'm getting to the point now at level 30, things seem to be leveled up around me, and the guns aren't doing as much damage as they once seemed to. So I'm working on kind of that next my weapons. I'm enjoying a lot too. It's just really these higher levels. And last is I have been also adding perks to my strength, and just my strength. And my thinking behind that was because I have the heavy weapon. I need constantly carrying junk, and I totally the fact that there's a pack mule perk, which I think would probably up my weight quicker. So I'm thinking I have Ish's respec mod, where you can go to the chem station, brew up I think it's called brain fuck. You a column of your perks, I believe. I haven't done it yet, so I'm going to try that, I think, and I'm going to rework some of those because I think I wasted maybe 2 to 3 of those on that for carry weight when I could have put it on pack mule. That's kind of my update. Sorry it's long, but I'm just freaking loving the round table. Super glad to be in Nuka World. I'm hoping to finish catching up by the time the Galactic Zone's assigned. Thank you, Pat and Andrew, and all of the people, everyone, participants as well. Thanks for creating this roundtable, and it's been a real blast. Yeah, well, I guess I'll leave it at that, and we'll see you guys later in the wasteland.
Awesome, Jeremy. Thank you for another wonderful in-depth back there. Kitty Kingdom is your favorite. That's pretty interesting. Of painted ghouls and Oswald with the top hat and all the magic and stuff. I think a lot of people would say the Galactic Zone is their favorite. That's interesting that you chose the Kitty Kingdom. Ghouls are never my opponent of choice, if that makes sense. The painted ghouls especially, I find them particularly nasty. So getting around those ghouls is pretty tough. But more power to you if you enjoy that Kitty Kingdom. It is the fun zone. I do like, but just man, the radiation sprayers and stuff. You enjoy that? Yeah, gosh, you just enjoy the brutal punishment. You're more of a man than I am, Jeremy. Congratulations on that. Have a note. Oh man, your missile launchers. You're getting really into missile launcher. That's really fun. I haven't played with them much for a very long time. Who really liked missile launchers for a while, so I was messing around with gun nut and science, like you'd mentioned. So if you get your gun nut up to 4 and your science up to 2, you can get that quad barrel with a gun nut of 3. But if you bump it all the way up to 4 with your sights, you get that targeting computer, which is really fun. I don't know, did you mention that targeting computer? Yeah, if you get gun nut of 4 and science of 2, you can get that targeting computer, and that lets you with your quad barrel go boop 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 boop, get 4 guys with your quad barrel, and then your VATS. It's not even in VATS, I don't even think, but you can just pick 4 of them off, and you just sort of like hold the button and sweep across 4 different bad guys, and they each get marked with a little diamond, and then they are dead. So that's fun to play with. Hopefully you have gotten that targeting computer. So Kitty Kingdom, missile launcher quad code, the auto lock, that's really good. It's just respec mod. I've never actually used that, but the respec mod again lets you reassign your perk have misinvested, which is something I should really use, because I'm one of those guys who stacks up like 5 or 6 perks before investing any of them, because I'm always scared that, oh, I'm going to make the wrong choice, I'm going to put it here, but I'm going to regret that later, and oh, what if I want my character to go this way instead of that way? So I always sit on like 4 or 5 perks deep before I feel like I can invest 2 or 3 at the amount of time. I always feel like I have to reserve a couple for some reason. So that's great, Jeremy. Thank you so much for your feedback. We have something from Lee here, so we will go ahead and check in with Lee. Jeremy in the YouTube chat says, haha, he likes Galactic Zone yet. You are in for a treat, my son. I love the Galactic hallways, buddy. So Jeremy, get excited for the Galactic Zone. It is a pretty fun one. I like the rewards of Oswald's outfit and his top hat. If you can get those items, that much more worthwhile. So Lee, our buddy, wrote in with another great audio feedback. So we'll go ahead and check in. Hey.
Hi, Fallout Feed guys and gals. This is Lee Benjamin. Well, let's see what's going on with Bethany, especially when I was so rudely interrupted last time. I don't know if my file size got too big or what, but it just unceremoniously cut me off. All right, so I was saying something about I had found some additional armor in the world, and I was on the mission for the Radio Raiders quest. That takes place in the Federation Depot, as we've mentioned before, near the Sunshine Tidings and the Lonely Chapel. While I was there, I was looking through the stuff I'd accumulated from Manuka World and realized that I had an operator's armed skirt that provided Bethany with 56 armor for a total of 93. So even though she was going to be wearing her power armor because of her Brotherhood of Steel leanings, she still wanted to have as good a armor as she could have underneath. So while at the Sunshine Tidings, I unloaded and repaired my power armor. As we may have mentioned before, found Kane inside the Federation Depot and had to make the jump to get to him, and then went ahead and released him. Went back to Black Eye Bobby and finished Radio Distress Call 434 XP reward. The Like a Good Neighbor quest, wherein you had to go out and rob a couple people. One of whom is a guy named Fred Allen, where you wear the ghoul mask. I found Fred in the lobby of the Hotel Rexford, the originally intended destination for Drinking Buddy. It seemed that nobody cared that I just stuck him up and his stash right there in the middle of the lobby. Okay. Went back and talked to Black Eye Bobby and got the Rock'em Sock'em Robots quest. Found out that he would also pay me for past Raider boss kills. So that's a pretty good score. This got Bethany to with Scrounger, and she added on Scrounger 4 at that point. So my notes here seem to be incomplete because I don't talk about how I finished out with the Like a Good Neighbor. Somewhere along the line, you had to get a set of armor from Diamond City Guard and then go rob the chem dealer Diamond City. Here again, as long as you're wearing the right outfit, in this case, Diamond City Guard. Anyway, figure out how to rob Solomon. Didn't realize I needed a guard outfit. Oh, yes, I remember now. When I was originally doing that quest, I happened to be live on the air with the Fallout feed and an earlier roundtable meeting, and sound turned down. Well, with the sound turned down, you don't tend to hear what and this could be an issue with the so I didn't know that I needed that. In fact, I didn't know that I needed the Diamond City Guard outfit until I listened to that same podcast that I was on. It was just talked about after I was not in that area anymore. So, gotta pay attention. Rock'em Sock'em Robots quest, you get that quest from the intriguingly named Spitball. So, we'll relate on how she happened to get that. Willy Whipple Robot, supposed to win 2 bouts and throw the third. I got the voice commands. The Protectons are slow. Gutsies are tough but low energy. This come to you for the Assaultrons. That was the Silver Shroud line, apparently. Tell me more about those gorillas. Surrender mode. You can't trust everyone. Return to base. Counter. Recognized as one of the counter signs for the railroad. The Molden's Gym, which is near the Old Corner bookstore. You fight a Protectron on Mr. Gutsy and Assaultron, and I needed to, and backed out of the third. So returned back to Black Eye Bobby, and he was very happy with the job I'd done, and I wound up with 372 XP. But I just run right in blindly and go ahead and get my XP. So then I started going to the Nahant police station for You've Got Mail. That it wasn't PD. This was where we figured out that the instructions were a little vague. Of course, I didn't realize it was a post office in Nahant, but you know, there usually is one, especially since I grew up in that area. I know that my aunt and uncle lived out there, and I knew they had mail service, so there had to be a post office out there somewhere. It's an island with a causeway that runs out to it. Anyway, it turns out there's a sheriff's station there, not a police station, but there was a terminal in there, and it turns out that is the one that mentions Sheriff Taylor. I also got an Eddie Winter holotape there. Collect the whole set. There was also a random encounter, it turns out, a dead settler in a postman's uniform. He had 3 letters on him. First one was from Sharon. She left Lars for a ghoul named Paulo. To Frank about money he owed. We know who you are and where you live. To show Frank they knew where he was, they sent him a letter. Of course, he apparently never got the letter. And then Eris wrote a note to Cole that said, "Stay in good neighbor. It's much safer than other parts of the Commonwealth." Found lots of junk in the sheriff's station. Stopped in the Red Rocket to do repairs on my power armor. Recruit Manor. And finally figured out that I needed to talk to Marion Taylor in the post office. She wanted me to get network cards. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I went back to the USS Riptide near Hangman's Alley. Took out those raiders, dropped off stuff at Hangman's Alley. Went back to Riptide and north to the CIT looking for the network cards. One was in the Cambridge Police Station in one of the back rooms. Good jump back there. And nobody cared that you took it all. There was also a police terminal there that included another Winters holotape. I think his name's Night Rise, was still giving out cleaning the Commonwealth quests, and he wanted me to clear out Fairnell Hall. Well, I'll get to it eventually. So I also happened across an interesting find, Scribe Halen's personal log. Well, it turns out she might not be the greatest knight in the world. She doubts the Brotherhood's goals and has a tendency to violence. Is this the same Scribe Halen that we've gone on fetch quests for? Apparently it is. Like I said, in the back room. Then made my way to the CIT dorm, where you find a tripwire and can chimes and raiders and 5 turrets. I think that's what my note says. Anyway, you get to the 3rd floor and there's an inaccessible room. Wonder if that'll crop up later. Anyway, found the other network card and returned to Marion with them. Ouch. Into the post office and there were 3 super mutants. It was like they came in after me. And the big diter decided to take out Frank Taylor, Marion's father. The team mail was to protect him so that he didn't have to roam the Commonwealth. And here I brought in a super mutant suicider who just blew us all away. Not good. Fortunately, it had saved just as I came into the room. The super mutants came in and blew us all up again. So I had to back up a little bit, but the next time I made it back to the post office, instead I found some dogs or something, you know, and so they were much less of a problem, and Frank survived. Well, the story of Nuka-Cola apparently started in 2042 when the chemist Brad Burton with the recipe and had to refine it, and it didn't actually get released until 2 years later. 2044. Now, in the world of refreshment, think of a ride at Walt Disney World or Disneyland like Small World or something like that, where you've got on the sides, there's animatronics that are part of the displays. Of course, there's also things like Nuka Lurk hunters that try to horn in on the act. Anyway, I got up on top of a truck for defense and managed to take out the Nuka Lurk hunter. Took hacking level 2. Found another kind of Nuka drink called Nuka Wild on a dead gunner. Found an area that was kind of behind the scenes that had a ticket roll of 1,000 tickets. Haven't figured out what the tickets are good for yet, but of them. There was also a weapons workbench and some tunnels. As part of the behind the scenes stuff, I found a bottling plant staff terminal. On the terminal, it had notes. Things like, Nuka-Cola Quantum kills bacteria. employees, you can be replaced if you're not enthusiastic. Well, that certainly sounds like a motivator, right? The beatings will continue until morale improves, I'm sure, was another one they used. This one about Nuka-Cola Dark. Found out that it's 35% alcohol. That gives it quite a kick, I'm sure. And another warning to the employees, stick to the script. Your attempts at levity and innovation are not appreciated. Came across an area with some wooden doors, a red one and a white one, and a metal door. While I was thinking about which door to take, run through the metal door into more tunnels and disappeared. So I guess he made the decision for me. I went down the tunnel, found the turret, and of course, Dance shows up behind me. It's like, is that an example of leading from behind or what? To be a bad place to be, because it turned out that we had some assaultrons start showing up, like 5 or 6 of them near some big glowing machine that must have had something to do with creating Nuka-Cola Quantum, I imagine. Gunner, Sergeant Lander, who was dead, found a star core, squirreled it away because I know at some point I'm going to need some of those, and found a door with a terminal. One of the options in this terminal was restoring power. Okay, found out too that some place called the Secure Lab needs power. Not sure if this is going to do it for him or whether I got something else I got to do. Anyway, also found Corporal Downey's report where he talked about the gunners being overrun by nuclearks. Found a drainage tunnel to the outside. Came out on the west side of the plant under a wall. A sluice tunnel. No lurks yet. Side there are nuclearks. This was on the west side though. Went out west and circled around to the east using a trailer for cover so that I could kill the... And there was a queen. We died. Reload. To the bottling plant, world of refreshment. This time when I got to the white and red and metal doors, I took the red door. Got to the end of the ride, and it's blocked by rubble. A door nearby, and that just was a closet or something. I don't know. It wasn't any help. And it came out in the back of the original starting chem station where we learned about the birth of Nuka-Cola. Pretty much finished up the interior of the plant, and now it's the exterior. We's gonna have to face the queen. Quite a while to figure out a strategy where I could beat on her enough with the weapons I had to finally take her out. I was out of 45 cal, so spray and pray didn't help any. Didn't have any missiles, didn't have any mini nukes. Pick up on ammo and come back and face the queen. Out, and with having cleaned out the exterior, this finished the world of refreshment and netted 34 XP. The cryptic note is on top of Nuka World. I found Casey's note and Casey's password. I was down to 10 fusion cores, so I knew that using power armor might not be an option forever. So I decided to use my Cappy glasses and see if I could find the hidden Cappy in World of Refreshment. I went back in without the power arm, save fusion cores, and just in case the T60 helmet was keeping the Cappy glasses from working. The guidance for how to find them seemed to be pretty much crap. Some people have said it wasn't that bad, but I sure couldn't find anything. Side, north, and east, decided to look for the red rocket, and it's right there. And even though I hadn't killed all the head raiders yet, I was able to claim it. So that meant I had to start getting rid of stuff that I'd accumulated in World of Refreshment. So Bethany headed back to Diamond City to get rid of some stuff. Hangman's Alley, so she could save some of it there. Ah, yes, this is the point where I, since I was going to Diamond City to stock up on ammo, I decided to look for a dead Diamond City guard. And unfortunately, it had been too long since the battle between the super mutants and the guards between Hangman's Alley and Diamond City. Couldn't find any Diamond City guard uniforms. I wonder now if there might have been some in Fallon's basement, since she sells various clothes. And, you know, Diamond City guards got to get uniforms somewhere. Thought of that. Unfortunately, I didn't think of it when I needed one. So I went into the alley and made me a dead Diamond City guard. Then with the guard outfit, I was able to go in and hold up Sheffield, and that completed the Like a Good Neighbor quest for 328 XP. which I, turned into Black Eye Bobby. Next, Bethany returned to Nuka World for, let's see, for Grand Tour, High Noon at the Gulch. Place I resumed is northeast of Hester's Consumer Electronics and is marked Hunt Down and Kill Nisha, leader of the Disciples. This section of my notes is very confusing. Well, so for the moment, take care, everyone. Have a good day, and I will see you in the wasteland.
Great stuff, Lee. Thank you so much for writing in and sending in your audio feedback. Again, anyone out there, we are doing these roundtable play-alongs, but if you're just playing just other random quests, you can, by all means, and give us your audio feedback and your thoughts. Sorry about that live broadcast. Thank you, Lee, for sending in your feedback. Again, that's always great to hear from Lee. He's been sending in feedback forever, and he's always a stalwart participant. We love hearing from Lee. He brought up the Sheriff Taylor thing. Again, that is in that town I cannot pronounce. Nahant. Nahant. I can't do it, Leah. I apologize. But Sheriff Taylor, it's just holds a special place for me because I always used to watch the Andy Griffith Show with my dad. I always liked the older black and white ones when Barney Fife and the original Gomer Pyle and everyone was around. Opie was a little kid. Those are the good ones back in the day. So I love the Sheriff Taylor reference that you're going to get up there. Oh, and there's that holotape, the Nick Valentine. I've been doing that with one of my side characters that I just test out mods on. I've been going through with Nick and collecting all his holotapes. So that's fun to go all to the different police stations and get the hints to where the next ones are and all that. So that's really, really fun to play with the Nick Valentine holotapes. Dance pops up and so it was like how you're following. Okay, where are they? They're not even here. And then you turn around and oh, wait a second, they're standing right behind me all the time. That happens a lot with Dancy, right? So yeah, the star cores. Lee's already collecting his star cores. That's good. He's been having trouble with the Mirelurk queens or the Nuka-Lurk queen. She is a total bitch, Lee. You are right. She is just such a problem maker for us all. The Cappy glasses. Lee. Either what the F is up with all the Cappy glasses finding this stuff. Everyone else seems to think this is super easy and they know exactly what to do. I also have never well, you may have had more success than me. I've never really had much success at all. I've tried to use those glasses, but I always would rather like to use perception or intelligence. There's not. I wish I could find intelligence in the Institute, but use my perception eyewear. So I never want to wear the Cappy glasses. Maybe I should just get a mod that lets you put the ballistic weave on them, and then that will give me incentive to wear them. So I can just have some powerful Cappy glasses. And then those tickets. You brought up a roll of tickets. I have never played with those tickets. I don't know what the point of them is, but I'm collecting all the tickets that I come across. So hopefully that if we play a complete run-through of Nuka World, I will collect all the tickets possible. Maybe we'll find out what the payoff is. I'm sure someone in our community has done it and know what it's for. I think Pat was mentioning that he played a bunch of the games. There's some sort of like Nuka arcade where you can go cash in tickets. I don't know. Maybe you can get some of those like plastic mustaches or a t-shirt that says like I rocked Nuka World and has like a rocket ship on it or something, Lee. That would be fun. You can turn in those tickets for some fun prizes, hopefully. I don't know. I'm going to keep my eye out for it, though. Your DC Guard uniform. Yeah, the problem with that, too. I scoured the friggin' earth looking for a DC Guard uniform. That was the hardest part for me. Because I also it had been too long since there was a dead guard from the Super Mutant battle from earlier. Lure one out to get killed by some albino mongrels that are up in the opposite direction down the alley. So I kept trying to kite those mongrels back towards town. And then eventually I got them all the way back and they killed the DC guard and I was able to take his uniform. But I think I looked down basement in DC. I don't think I could find a DC guard. I even went into the jail to see if I could steal one out of a locker. I don't think there was one in a locker. I don't think it was possible. And it was just lots of sneaking around looking for. I looked at all the different clothing shops around DC. Nothing. You'd think that they would be sort of plentiful, or at least over in the police station, that you'd be able to find them in a locker. It's weird that you couldn't. But yeah, again, Lee, thank you so much for being such a valuable member of our community, writing in all the time, hopping on the show when we need you, filling in. And Lee, it's amazing to hear from you. Please keep up the good work, and we would love to keep hearing from you as the season continues on. So that is all of the feedback that we were going to get into tonight. The last thing I was going to mention is this roundtable. We're about 2/3 of the way through. So we've got to make sort of some loose plans about what we're going to do in the future for the show. I hope I'm not spoiling or dropping any bombs here, but I think the fellas over at the A Skyrim Addict podcast are going to start doing another roundtable, but hold your jets. It's not a Skyrim roundtable per se, but they're going to start doing an Oblivion roundtable. And Oblivion is a game that I am not familiar with at all. I've played, maybe an hour or two of the game. I put it in just to see what it was like. So I'm not familiar. I'm not really able to go in depth and sort of host a roundtable at all. So I think Juan and maybe Michael are going to hold down the fort and do an Oblivion roundtable. I'm hoping, because I went out and I bought Oblivion. I'm going to do a play along and submit audio feedback to them, to hopefully that they'll play on their show. So it'll be fun to do a roundtable from the sort of opposite end and see what happens with our Oblivion roundtable character. But while they're doing their Oblivion roundtable, I was thinking, what should we do over on the Fallout feed in the meantime? Let's make it really interesting. I don't know. We'll need input from all the community, of course. So please, everyone, write into us at the Fallout feed at gmail.com. That's the Fallout feed at gmail.com, or /groups/ A Skyrim Addict podcast, and let us know what we should do in the future with our roundtable. We're thinking, let's go back in time a little bit. Let's play a former game. Do you guys want to do a Fallout 3? Interested? Would you guys play along with a Fallout 3? Would you guys do a Fallout New Vegas? I am about, halfway through Fallout 3 at this point. I've never played through Fallout New Vegas. I need to play through that so I can familiarize myself with that storyline. If we do a roundtable for that, or we could just have Denny. Denny is the Fallout 3 guy, Pat's the Fallout New Vegas guy. We could have either of them lead the roundtable. So interesting to me. So let's hear what you guys think. Do we do Fallout New Vegas? Do we do Fallout 3? Do we do something else in Fallout 4? Do we find another story mod worth doing in Fallout 4? Since I've played the main storyline in Fallout 4, I'm sort of next adventures going through the end of the last end part of the game there. It's been a long time since I've seen that. I was trying to do, but my main quest got bugged, which is total suck ass. So I don't know. We could do Fallout 4 main quest again. I'm ready to go through that again. I'm not tired of that. So let us know what you guys think. We will be excited to hear what you think. Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, some more Fallout 4. Pat and I were talking about that continual character earlier, like maybe somehow your character was doing Fallout 3 and then in DC, and then somehow they got transferred and stumbled out all the way into the Mojave Desert, I don't know which desert it is, but out in New Vegas, and then somehow all the way stumbled back all the way to Boston, to the Wasteland, Commonwealth. But I'm thinking I kind of want to play Fallout 1 and 2. Is there a way to connect a character through all Fallout games? And plus another thing I have to do. Okay, here's another thing. I can outsource this to you guys, our listeners. Who out there owns Macs? Because I use Mac for my podcasting, and for my main my computer, my desktop computer is a Mac. Can I get Fallout 1 and 2 from Mac OS X? Help me out with that, guys. Let's outsource my problems to you guys, my best resources. So help me out, everybody. Other than that, I'm playing some Fallout 3, like I've mentioned a few times here, and just a couple of things to all you guys out there who've played a lot of Fallout 3. I know that it is a very popular game, and a lot of people really like the storyline. I've just started getting to the beef of it with all the water purification stuff and the GAC. It's sort of like a new terraforming. Actually, I think that's exactly what it is. Like a suitcase with seeds and all sorts of stuff where you can sort of like. It's such a fun idea. I love stuff like that. But Fallout 3. Just some notes a little bit here, guys. That know the game well, you can explain to me what's going on here. I feel like I'm not finding a lot of like bobbleheads and stuff like that. Like I found a couple of, they look like fucking thick ass textbooks, but I think they're magazines. I found a couple of the sneak ones, like the covert missions and stuff like that. Like finding like bobbleheads and fun like little collectible stuff. Does Fallout 3 have a lot of that sort of thing? I assume the bobbleheads were a continual tradition through Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4. But I don't know. I feel like I haven't found any or many. What about how you level up in Fallout 3? Seems weird to me. I'm already at least a third, if not a halfway through the game, and I'm only level 7. I'm not even level 8 yet, and it's like pretty low leveled. If I was only level 7 in Fallout 4, I wouldn't be all the way halfway through the game already. At least the main quest. I think it'd be difficult. That was actually going to be a challenge that we're going to have for some of our play along guys. At one point, we're going to be like, who can get through the entire Fallout 4 game with getting the least amount of experience points, or who can finish the main story at the lowest level. Be a fun little challenge. But yeah, leveling up is really weird in Fallout 3. I just feel like it's weird and slow. And is there some sort of level cap? Is there a level cap of 30? And also, I don't have any of the DLC loaded, so once I finish the main story, the game is over. Correct? Question mark? I'm not sure. And power armor training. Fallout 3, I found some Enclave power armor and a power armor helmet. It sucks that those two items are separated for some reason. Like in Fallout 4, it's just like it's all one piece, but you can load on the pieces to it onto the one frame. But you have to do power armor training in order to use the power armor in Fallout 3. Hey, what's up with that? Where do I go to do that? Or do I have to have like a special intelligence or science, or what's up with that? And that brings up another point in Fallout 4. Blake was talking about running around in the glowing sea. Actually, Sarah was actually talking about the glowing sea and power armor, I believe, too. She said she didn't like power armor. If you run around in just the frame, if like you keep getting blown up and you lose all your pieces, like I always tend to do, like my helmet gets blown up and I never have any arms and my torso's lost long ago. So I'm just running around in the frame. Game itself without a helmet provide any sort of radiation resistance? I don't know why it would if your face is exposed. But yeah, so I was just curious about that too. Does the naked frame actually provide rad resistance? I assume I could just look that up very easily, but I was just wondering about that. So it was on a last note of Twitch. We wanted to start some everybody doing video feedback, and actually that'll help out with our YouTube presentation here. So I think we're going to start doing some like share screens of old video playthroughs while we're doing our broadcast here live on YouTube. So we're start doing some more live broadcasting on Twitch, and I'd like to commend Ray. Thank you so much, Ray, for attempting to do a video feedback for your character. He had a little bit of sorry. He had a little bit of technical difficulties here and there, but we still appreciate the honest effort. And I'm going to attempt to do one of the quests for next batch. I'll try to do that live on Twitch and see if I can submit a little video feedback that we can provide for the Twitch feed, and then we can kick that over to YouTube if everyone wants to watch it. But if you'd like our Twitch information, this twitch.tv/ASA podcasting. So I think that's all I have for this evening. I'd like to thank everyone listening to this edition of the Fallout Feed. Again, Pat walked you through what we're going to do next time. We're starting session 5 on July 6th. That'll be Indecent Exposure and Love and Peace. Those are the 2 Tales from the Commonwealth quests. We're getting close to the end here, guys. So we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 Tales quests left, and 1, 2, 3 Nuka World quest. And that's all. Star Control is really the big one that we have left, and then we just got to return the power back on to Nuka World. I'm interested to see how, since I killed everyone, how that's going to make my Nuka World react. Again, thank everyone so much for participating in our community. We really could not do the show without the interaction that the community provides, both in the Facebook group and on Twitter. As we're starting to beef up a little bit, our live YouTube chat. We love all the interactions that everyone gives us, all the great audio feedback. It really is the backbone of the show. So thank you guys so much for participating. For Pat, I am Andrew. I'd like to thank Blake, Jeremy, Lee, and Sarah for sending in great audio feedback. We will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Askyrimaddictpodcast podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.